Hello, welcome back to another Togcast. Very quickly, if you are not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're listening on Spotify, please click that follow and you'll be updated every time we release a Togcast, which is every Friday at 5 p.m. British summertime. So today we have a real nice guy. So I interviewed Davida last week, so he's one of the nicest guys. But this next person that I've got is pretty up there as well. And to be fair, so some of you may need translators later on because, yeah, you're just going to hear my accent and Barry's accent basically. So good luck with that. But yeah, it's with great pleasure that I introduce you to Mr. Barry R.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate the nice comments.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I had to get the Barry R part in though.
Of course, of course, of course.
It's not in the thumbnail, but it's there now. So, so
Yeah.
Barry is a commentator, a senior commentator at TOGA, and he is also the head or stroke manager of the TOGA Academy, which is amazing. He's done absolutely outstanding work. We are going to do a separate podcast for the Academy because we feel that half an hour we could actually get quite a lot in, whereas we wouldn't get as much about Barry in if we were doing it as a joint one. So, yeah, so Barry, it's up to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so Barry, I am from Northern Ireland, if you can't tell by the accent. If I sound like Mac, that's because I'm from Scotland's little baby brother over here
Yeah.
across the water. Um, so hopefully that we don't to do much doesn't get lost in translation. Yeah, so I started sim racing 4 or 5 years ago, start probably like just before lockdown. I mostly played the Forza games growing up, and then I got hooked on the F1 games from like 2019 onwards, I think it was.
Hmm.
Um, Bought myself a Logitech wheel during or before the first lockdown. Got really heavily invested in playing the F1 games. That was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
And then I found ACC, which has just been unbelievable. Uh, been playing that for the last year and a half, like
Hmm.
very like seriously.
Yep.
Um, And then I found Toga like how long ago? Probably like 4 or 5 months ago now.
Hmm.
I was just doing like odd races here and there, and I found Toga, and it's been a great ride ever since. Just sort of hopped in the bandwagon and just sort of haven't got off yet. Holding on for dear life. Now it's a great place to be, and just means I can just scratch my itch for sim racing as and when I want.
Hmm.
Or yap about it in the comms box,
Yeah.
either or.
Exactly, exactly. I can't believe it's only been that long. It feels like years, but in a good way. That you've been
Yeah.
with Toga, it genuinely just feels like you're part of the furniture, which is a good thing. Before anyone thinks I'm insulting Barry, um, so yeah. So in terms of sim racing, what for you is the enjoyment? What enjoyment does it give you when you jump into your seat and switch on ACC?
Oh, this is going to be a long answer. I can imagine. Um, See, I've always loved cars growing up, as I'm sure we all have. Everybody's part of sim racing. Just cars is it's all about really. Um, and just getting in a rig and driving it, well, semi-realistic simulator is is the words are going to use. Um, makes me feel like I'm driving a real GT3 car. It gives me,
Hmm.
I actually feel like, when I'm in my seat driving, I feel like I'm driving a real car.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not exactly that, but it's close enough.
Yep.
Um, just the satisfaction of racing and just being on the edge of racing all the time,
Hmm.
and
Abs-
just being able to battle people, have
hmm.
fun races, fight for the win and so on.
Yeah.
It's a great adrenaline rush, and it's so satisfying when it goes right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, and when you do well, it's so satisfying, and it's just uh, other than that, it's hard to describe. It's just something that really gives me like a great enjoyment to do.
Yeah. You can do it for hours and feel like you've just sat down in the seat and you're like, wow, is that many hours went past already?
Yeah.
And it's obviously the closest thing we can get to the real thing. So I think there's, as you say, it's adrenaline, acceleration, and everything else. It's all mixed together for it. So so you haven't seen the thumbnail yet, but the background is a Porsche. As I know,
Yeah.
Barry's got a real passion for the Porsche. How long have you been driving the Porsche now in ACC?
Oh, that's a good question. Where before I used to hate the Porsche
Uh huh.
for a long time because I could never drive it,
Yeah.
and then I was part of a different community for a little bit, which is where I did my first endurance race.
Uh huh.
It was a 6 hours of Watkins Glen. I think that was like
Oof.
I think it was like 9 or 10 months ago now. And the guy that I was paired with really wanted to use the Porsche,
Oh no.
and I was like, I mean, I could learn it, and so I had like a week and a half to learn the Porsche.
Wow.
So I spent a week just wanting to throw my rig out a window. As anyone who's had to learn to drive the Porsche will know. And then it started clicking,
Hmm.
and the Porsche, it just feels amazing on the ragged edge. It just feels unbelievable to drive,
Yeah.
and it's the best sounding car in the game. And anyone who says otherwise is just wrong.
I have to say,
Uh,
yeah, I totally agree. I drove the Porsche for a little while, and I loved the sound of it. But I also I loved a lot about it, and I also hated a lot about it because I
yeah.
couldn't drive it, and it's not the car's fault; it's my skill issue. Um, so I mean, obviously you drive other cars as well,
Mhm.
but would you say your Porsche is your mainstay at the
Oh,
moment?
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. It's the car I feel the most comfortable in, and the
Hmm.
car I'm definitely the fastest in.
Yep.
Granted,
And
I'm not that fast, but I'm all right.
yeah,
I,
well, you're faster than me, which isn't saying much, but I will give you that at the same time.
uh, I'm faster than Hayden, and
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
exactly, exactly. So some tracks Hayden and myself are quite close, and other tracks he's just way faster. So
To be fair, most of the time, me and Hayden are quite close in pace.
yeah, and in fact, talking about the Porsche and Hayden, you were actually in the what was it again? The ERA 4 hours of Indy yesterday,
Yes, we did that yesterday. That was a lot of fun.
and that was in the Porsche as well.
I was in the Porsche, which Reese thought we were insane to try that. Was it? It might have been Reese. Somebody said we were insane for trying it
Uh huh.
anyway.
Uh huh.
Um, because we were initially going to drive the BM,
Mm-hmm.
like the M4, and it felt like a barge. No, didn't even feel like a boat. It felt like a barge trying to drive it around Indy. So we, at the last minute, went, "Can we drive the Porsche?"
Mm-hmm.
And me and Hayden both did a couple of practice laps. Went, "Yeah, we're driving the Porsche," because it was actually drivable. So we did that race yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
About an hour in, the server crashed. There was a server issue.
Oh.
Um, it got turned around pretty quickly though.
Uh-huh.
Like it happens. It's whatever. But on the restart, we were P1 because
Wow.
the rain was falling and everyone dived into the pits and we didn't. We were like, we're waiting till the stint timer.
Yep.
So we stayed out and we waited and we were P1
Wow.
and we restarted P1. But unfortunately, the guys, the top three were like alien pace, so they
Yeah.
just immediately just ran
Yeah.
away with it.
Yep.
I think there's no confirmation yet, but I think we got P1 in class.
Which is amazing. It was a really
Um,
strong field.
we crossed the line P2 in class, but the guy who was P1 in class, I think he's got disqualified for doing something he shouldn't have done.
Right.
But then also Kieran Macy, who finished P4
Mm-hmm.
in the game, he was in a different class, but he might have been actually supposed to be in our class, so we're not
Right.
sure yet.
Okay.
We're
But
waiting for the actual results.
that's but I mean that is amazing because I did watch some of it and there was some good racing going on. There was some good battles as
Yeah.
well. So absolutely outstanding. So what have you done? Yeah, you did World Tour Season 1. Is that right?
I commentated on World Tour Season 1. That was
Ah,
my first commentary session for Toga was the second round of World Tour Season 1.
was it?
Yeah, I think it was Brands Hatch, I'm pretty sure.
Uh-huh.
I didn't actually race the World Tour Season 1, but I did most of the commentary for it because I think I was free that day every week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did a lot of the commentary for it, and it was really good to commentate.
Yep.
And then obviously I raced in Season 2, and by raced, I take that term very loosely. I think I did half the races.
But you were, was it the second last race you were battling for P1? Or you were P1? Or is I making
Uh,
it up?
that's a different championship.
Oh, is
That
it?
was the 24 2.4.
Ah.
So like I think there was three of the races I couldn't attend.
Mm-hmm.
One because I was ill, one because I
Yep.
was at a concert, and one for a different reason. I can't remember what the other reason was.
Uh-huh.
And then the other three, I think Zolder, I got disconnected. That was whenever we unfortunately had a few server issues, and
Yeah.
I unfortunately fell foot to that one that time. I think the only good race I had in the World Tour was Red Bull Ring, and that was a wet race, so that was
Oh.
even made it even more difficult. But
Um,
no, it was fun, even though I didn't get to race much of it, unfortunately. Just
mhm.
the
Yeah.
timings didn't work out, It is
Yeah,
what it is.
absolutely. So yeah, so you wear a few hats, and as I say, we will go into the Toga Academy in a different one. But I mean, knowing from myself, you literally jumped into the commentator seat, and like there was no looking back. It was like you were always designed for that kind of seat, in terms of it. So do you still enjoy doing the commentary?
Well, I love it.
Yeah,
It's really good. Because it just means like if I'm not driving a race, I get to watch it
yeah,
and
that's
just
right.
yap a bit, just yap about it as Dex likes to say, we're just professional yappers.
We
Uh,
are absolutely.
um, no, it's really good because I just get to watch a race and just
Yeah.
talk about it,
Hmm.
and that's always good. Because like I said, whenever I was chatting to you, whenever I was interviewing for it,
Yeah.
like I was like, I just whenever I'm racing, if I'm racing by myself, I'll just talk to myself about what's going on.
Uh
So
huh.
may as well do it for other people, so they can,
Exactly.
you know.
Yep. Exactly. No, it's
No, it's really really fun.
hmm
Obviously, like I haven't done as much commentary recently because I've been doing a whole bunch of different things,
yeah.
and I've been had two bouts of illnesses in the last month.
And you've got a new job as well, so
Yeah,
you've had
there's a lot happening.
there's been a lot on your plate. So
Yeah, I
talking.
unfortunately haven't been doing as much, but yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get back to it. We'll get
Yeah.
back to
Absolutely.
more regular commentary at some point soon.
So in terms of your equipment, what are you using in terms of your wheel pedals and your rig, etc.?
So I'm very basic. I have a Logitech G923, I think it is,
Uh huh.
with the Logitech pedals. I mean it's it's your entry level sort of thing. I will buy a motor setup, and I was actually talking to Mike about this.
Hmm.
I almost pulled the trigger on one this morning, but the shipping cost, I looked at it and went, nope. I'll wait.
Exactly.
Um, that's all bolted to one of those foldable play seat
Oh, okay.
Challenger ones.
Uh huh.
You can actually fold it up and put it away, even with the wheel attached.
Oh, right. I didn't realize you could do it with the wheel attached. That's quite good.
Yeah, because like under the wheel is like a little thing. If you unscrew it, you can fold the wheel down so that it
Ah,
all folds together nicely.
nice.
Um, I live alone, so I don't really put it away that much. It is a little bit in the way of my living room,
Uh
but
huh.
I don't really care. I live alone.
Yeah.
There's nobody else to tell me to put it away, so I don't really
Exactly.
do that.
Exactly. And if you trip over it, you've no one else to blame but yourself. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's my setup for it. It's pretty
Mhm.
basic, but it works
Well,
for now.
I have to say, and this is where we always try to say, especially to people who are new to sim racing, I've got a Fanatec CSL 5 Newton meter wheelbase. I've got the McLaren GT3 wheel. I've got Fanatec CSL Elite pedals, and Barry's much faster than me. So it's nothing to do with equipment in terms of how fast you can be. It's about how to do the best you can with what you've got.
Yeah.
I'll be excited to see what you're like when you do get like a direct drive wheel and get a pedal upgrade. I think you will probably lose a couple of seconds easily per track.
Yeah. Um, I'm excited to get a direct drive wheel. I was gonna buy one this morning, but I'm gonna
Hmm.
wait till probably Black Friday is probably gonna be when
Yeah,
I
yeah,
properly look at it.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, just because the shipping cost was like 175 quid, 180 quid or something. I
That's
was like, yeah, that's too much.
yeah, exactly. It's like
It's it's already cost me nearly £1,000. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not paying an extra 180 in shipping.
exactly.
Um,
It's almost a fifth of the cost of your equipment. It's
yeah,
I could go towards something else that you're looking for.
yeah. I really want a Moza R9, just
Hmm.
because it's got like I think it's like 10 newton meters max, but I'll probably not use the full 10. But I
Yeah. Hmm.
want to have a good amount of feedback, like
Yeah, absolutely.
pressure to work with.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And if you don't know, Barry goes to the gym quite a lot, so I have no doubt he's able to throw a 10 Newton meter wheel around about. Not too bad.
well, I don't know. That's to be determined yet. I haven't been to the gym much because I've been ill and stuff, and
Yeah.
like the last like 8 weeks has been crazy,
Uh-huh.
crazy busy. So
Yeah,
I just
absolutely.
haven't had a lot of time to go,
Yeah.
which is I kind of been neglecting it, and I'm like I really like I need to go back to the
Yeah,
gym.
I know. And then as time goes on, the longer you're not at it, it starts becoming normal that you haven't been to it, and then you're like, oh, it's a whole motivation again of trying to get back into a
Mm.
routine.
Yeah, like I went on Friday,
Uh-huh.
and because I haven't been in a while, like my muscles aren't used to it anymore. So like
Yeah.
my legs are a lot of muscle strain and muscle pain today.
Yeah.
Because it's been like a few weeks, and I'm
Uh-huh.
just like, oh, I'm gonna have to go through this again for the
Yeah.
next month.
I know that's it. It's almost like you put yourself back down two steps from where you were.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
yeah.
But I'll get back there. It's just
Hmm.
I started the gym during lockdown.
Yeah.
And it's more been a mental health thing more than anything. It's just been very good for that
Yeah.
personally.
That that's
That's why
what
I've stuck at it.
that's what I call the gym. Obviously, I've not been to it as much either, but like that's my temple to go to sort my mental health out. You can just do what you need to do and get all your frustrations out, and you just feel so much better when you walk out that door.
Yeah, I a set of boxing gloves that I still have from training I did last year for a boxing match.
Right?
And I just if I'm like really frustrated or like I'm not feeling great, I just
Yeah.
go and hit the punching bag for 20 minutes,
Amazing.
and that just forces the frustration out and always helps.
Yeah. Absolutely. Have you felt that there's been a connection between ACC and your mental health?
uh, yes, both positive and negative.
Uh huh.
So I fell down like a rabbit hole for a while where if I wasn't winning, I was like beating myself up about it,
Yeah.
and obviously put myself down and so on. And like I know a lot of people relate to that.
Hmm.
Because you want to win and everyone wants to win, and
Yeah.
that's just really that's the long and short of it.
Yeah.
But I've recently just sort of come to peace with the fact that you're not going to win everything,
Yeah.
and like even like a few weeks ago, me and a few of the other guys like Reese and stuff and Charlie and all, we did an LFM race, and it was an absolute disaster for me, but I was laughing. I was like I
Uh,
think third last over the line, but I was laughing because I was like the way I started thinking about it in my head is like it happens.
yeah.
Just try and make light of it.
Hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's a hobby we're all here to enjoy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if you're constantly like putting yourself down or getting annoyed about it, then you're not enjoying it.
Exactly. What you're doing is
So
actually torturing yourself.
yeah, so like that's why I've tried to shift mentality a little bit, and I think it's working.
Yeah, that's good. I
But
think
but
that's
it's like yeah, because even with me and Hayden yesterday, like I said, I really want to win. I really want to win. And obviously, the top three guys were like aliens, so we were
yeah.
never ever catching them.
Uh huh.
So it's just acknowledging, yeah, like we're never gonna be that fast.
Uh huh.
Let's just do it. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, that's it. Just do your best and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to know because I think I'm actually kind of behind you. I think I'm still a little bit like what you were before, kind of trying to improve, and then the frustration kicks in, and then you start making mistakes, and then
Mm.
it kind of snowballs from one little thing to an entire big thing, and then it's a case of switch it all off and walk away and leave it and come back to it another day. But
Mm.
you're absolutely right. It's a hobby. Unless you're getting paid to do it, it's a hobby, and you do a hobby to enjoy it. So,
Yeah, because I think even yesterday, I'll go to keep using yesterday as an example.
uh huh.
Like I was chasing down Kieran, and I was getting closer. I got right onto the back of him, and then I had to overtake a back marker and had almost had an issue with them, and
Right.
I lost time,
Oh.
and I was in such a rhythm that I lost that rhythm,
Oh.
and then I was getting frustrated,
Yep.
and then I kept making the same mistakes over and over again, and then I lost all the time I built up to care, and I was like, well, and then I was like, right, just find that rhythm again, and you can
Hmm.
start pushing back again, and then I had to hand the car over because my stint was over anyway.
Yeah.
Before I got back into it properly, but
Uh,
it's all about it's all about rhythm, and it's very, like you say, it's very easy to like get frustrated over like something so minute.
yep.
Um, but obviously I was still a work in progress. But
Hmm.
as yesterday was evident too, where I was like getting a little bit annoyed that I lost my rhythm.
Yeah. And I
It
think
happened.
it does. And I think as you tire, especially through an endurance race, your your strength to keep the positivity starts waning and decreasing, and then the horrible little thoughts start to jump over that barrier and kind of creep in. So I think there's a lot to say for mental and physical fatigue as well, in terms
Yeah,
of it. But it's good that you've got. I mean, I've raced with Hayden as well, so I know how upbeat he can be, and I know Reese and Ollie and everybody that we race with, whether it's with Toga Esports or with Toga and LFM, it's always a good laugh. And regardless of how crap you feel, the guys actually pull you out with how you feel, and then you actually begin smiling and laughing again.
yeah, that was it. Like I had a really bad race, but I think like racing stuff had a pretty good race, and I was like, yeah, good job, guys. I had a crap race, and they were like, it happens. And then we went and looked back at some of the incidents, and it turned out like they were raced. I thought one of the cars in the first lap just rammed me off track, but it turns out it was just a racing incident.
Aha.
Like it's very easy in the moment to think like you're never at fault
Uh,
for anything. Uh,
100%. Yep.
but yeah, but I just looked back and I went, well.
I know. I know. You
I'm
can't.
I'm I'm equally at fault for this incident. Whoops.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've done that so many times when you carry that anger around for the 20, 25 minutes or however long the race is, and then we look back and you go, oh, that was actually my fault. Or it was a racing incident. It's bizarre how your brain works sometimes. So
Yeah,
with
it's oh,
yeah,
go, go
we've
for it.
talked a little bit about obviously the car that you love. There's are other cars that you're crazy enough to try and drive, but is there a track in particular that you see on a lineup for a championship and go, "Oh, I'm so glad about that one."
Red Bull Ring.
Oh, I love it.
It's my favorite track in this game at the moment. It's my fastest track in the game at the moment.
Good, excellent.
Because the you alluded to the point a little bit ago. The best race I've had in ACC was the 2.4 and 24 on the Red Bull Ring.
That's right. Yep.
It wasn't just because of the fact that I won the race, which was just insane in my
Mhm.
opinion that I actually managed it, but it was managing to race pretty much side by side with Luke Wilson for about 50 minutes
Wow.
and keep him behind me. And that man is so much faster than I am,
Yeah. He
and
he's
but
faster
I
than
just
most.
had it.
Mhm.
That was just it just seemed to be my day that day.
Yep.
I just managed to keep him behind. I think like for about 50 minutes there was no point he was more than a second behind me.
Mhm. That.
And the amount of times up into turn three, we were side by side, or he tried to go for a move, but like me and him even discussed it after the race
Mhm.
because the Porsche's rear engine, as soon as you put the power down, all the weight's in the back, so
Yeah.
it just goes.
It just takes off like a scolded cat.
The McLaren couldn't keep up in
No.
the outer corner acceleration, and I think that's how I managed to keep it.
Yeah.
But the pressure that I was under and the fact that I didn't bottle it
Hmm.
was just that was one of the best races I've ever done.
And it probably amazes you because it pushed you possibly beyond what you've maybe done before for such a long length of time.
Yeah.
I'm sure apart from being absolutely exhausted, even though it was only an 80-minute race or whatever it was, but like you must have felt such a good achievement even having that battle for so long. Because Luke, we all know in Toga, Luke is a really fast driver.
Yeah. I
But
think that race was like it was 2 hours 24 minutes that race.
Right, yeah, so it was, sorry.
Um,
Yep.
and I remember because I had the stream on the other screen, and
Uh-huh.
Zeta was commentating on it.
Uh-huh.
And it was almost pit stop time, and thankfully the Porsche is quite light on fuel usage.
Yep.
So Zeta was like, how have they not pit it yet? And he's like, there's no way that they could do a one stop. And I think I pit it, and I had like fuel to spare at the end,
Uh-huh.
and all I could hear was Zeta like constantly going, "Luke's gonna make a move, Luke's gonna make a move," and I'm like, oh, here we go again, and I have to defend again. um, no, because I think like the first half hour, I qualified P3, and the guys in first and second just drove away.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's not a chance I'm catching them.
Mm-hmm.
But then after the pit stops, I don't know what happened, but me and Luke just seemed to unlock another level of speed
Amazing.
because we
Uh,
slowly reeled them in, got past them, nearly had a race-ending incident with P1.
uh-huh.
It was around like turn 6.
Mm-hmm.
He actually hit me off track. I think it ended up being a racing incident. I think he lost control of the car a little
Yeah.
bit.
Uh-huh.
If my recollection serves me right.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, didn't hit the wall or nothing, but it got a little bit dicey at one point. But no, I think that was probably the best racing performance I put in,
Amazing. Amazing.
and it definitely took me beyond my limits.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what you want. You want someone to push you. You don't want to be racing against people that you're quicker than because you're not learning anything. You'd rather be. I know it sounds counteractive, but you want to be racing against people who are faster than you because it inspires you to then try and catch up with them, or you see lines that are getting taken. You're like, oh my god, I never even thought of that.
Yeah,
No, it was absolutely amazing. Like I think there was so much excitement round about that race.
yeah, because
Specifically,
I was in a VC with Hayden and Dex and a couple of others,
yeah.
and they were like egging me on. They were like, "Come on, you got this, you got this." And then
Uh-huh.
like the last lap, they were like, "Come on, you can do it." I think they were all watching at this point. They weren't doing anything
Uh-huh.
else. And I think we crossed the line, and I think I was like point 0.2 of a second ahead at the line.
hmm
Like it was that
Amazing.
close, like for like
Amazing.
45, 50 minutes.
Wow. Oh, a hot, sweaty mess by the end of it as well, no
Oh,
doubt.
absolutely. I had the fan at full speed right beside me, and I was still like, I needed to shower immediately after the race. No, that was probably my best performance. And then
Mhm.
obviously we had Rebel Ring recently in the World Tour.
Yeah.
I didn't
Mhm.
do quite as well this time, but I still did pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, good.
I had a bit of a tussle with Davide. um, me and him in a couple of moments throughout the World Tour season 2. I think Zolder I think he ran into me, obviously accidentally, obviously,
yeah, yeah.
and I know Davide would never do it intentionally.
No.
Um, and then in the red boarding, I actually ran into him. But thankfully there was no cars behind us. As soon
hmm
as he got back on track, I gave him the position back. I wasn't
Yeah.
going to take it from him.
Yeah, no,
Just
absolutely.
it was obviously not intentional.
Yeah.
I think it was
Just
like turn 3. I just had much more like
aha.
over speed through the corner, and I just didn't expect this slow moving BMW.
That
So
that's what it's all about, and that's part of what the Toga community is as well. It's about racing against people that you trust, and although there might be a very slight mistake, there's no hate or afterwards there's no words of war or anything either. So
no.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
like after the race, I just immediately apologized to David. I said sorry, man.
yeah,
He's like, oh yeah, I knew it wasn't intentional.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Has somebody or something that particularly inspired you to get into sim racing or motorsport in any way?
Not really. Just sort of. So I always grew up like I remember watching like F1 like years and years and years ago. Like
Yeah.
whenever I was like 10, 11, 12.
Uh huh.
And then I just sort of stopped watching it. There wasn't a particular reason for it. Just sort of stopped.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the second last race of 2021.
Mhm.
Obviously the big battle.
Yeah.
Or was it the second race or the third last race? I think it was the third last race
Mhm.
where a friend of mine messaged me and went, "Oh, we're having like a watch party. Do you want to come?"
Uh huh. Huh.
And I said, "Yeah, sure. I haven't
Mhm.
watched F1 in years, but I'll just go for at least for the company."
Yeah.
and that propelled me all the way back in.
Sucked you
And
right back in.
it sucked me so far back in. Because I always played the Forza games growing up, and like
Yeah.
Gran Turismo and like that sort of thing.
Yep.
Um, and then I bought a wheel to play the Formula One games.
Uh-huh.
Or I wasn't even watching Formula One at this point. I was just sort of like playing it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why in my own, there was some reason in my head that was the case. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I started watching the Formula One again, and I've been hooked on it ever since. I've been and then I've started getting into GT3 racing
Yep.
more, and I've started watching more of that, and like a lot of like the IMSA stuff that's going on. I've been watching some of that now when I remember that it's on. Um, and it's just not particularly anyone or anything. Just sort of I find my way back to it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Coincidentally, just through a random watch party that I was randomly invited to. And then I find my way back to Formula One, which propelled me into GT3 racing now. So
Amazing.
it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Like I'm so glad I found that again.
Yep. Absolutely. And it gives you an outlet as well, you know. It may be a hobby, but a lot of us take this hobby quite seriously at times, and
Yeah.
with the roles that we do in Toga, it's quite clear that we have a lot of passion for it. Even just listening to you, to Barry, you can just hear the passion in your voice and the excitement when you're talking about the battles and races. So, unfortunately, we've reached the very end of the podcast. I can't believe it. It feels like we've only just started talking.
That went by very fast.
It did. It did. See, when a Scotsman and an Irishman get together, no one can get words in edgewise. So yeah, it's.
I think that's why the powers don't let us
That's
commentate
right.
together too often.
That's why SimGrid said we were the OG commentary team. So yeah,
You're looking at the best commentary team in Toga. Don't let
exactly.
Hayden tell you otherwise. He will try and tell you otherwise. It's not true.
Exactly. Exactly. We've got a Twitter tweet to prove it.
I have that framed on my wall, so he can never dispute it.
Oh man, listen, Barry, it's been an absolute pleasure as always to talk to you, and thanks for being so open and honest, and hopefully maybe inspiring some people to either get back into it or have a different look at how to do it for the mental health.
Yeah, like obviously I've talked about mental health a lot, and it's a big thing
Yeah.
that obviously it's not talked about enough.
Absolutely.
As we all know, I'll not get too deep into this rabbit hole, I promise. But anyone who's part of Toga or whatever, if you know, uh, always open to chat if you need to about anything like that. Like obviously I found advice to help with mental health, so like if anyone needs a hand finding advice, that's always
Yeah.
the door's always open for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
it's just finding something that helps.
That's right. Something that eases it or lets you forget about things for a while or whatever it is. But that's absolutely amazing. So that's what our big family at Toga are. We're just here to support each other, whether it's to do with racing, mental health, or anything else. So Barry, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime. It's been great talking to you again, Mac.
We'll get Barry back to talk about the Toga Academy real soon. I think that'll be quite an interesting one to listen to. So so if you have enjoyed this on YouTube, then please give it a like. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps us grow as a channel and a community. If you're listening on Spotify, please make sure you follow. And if you are able to give it a rating, that would be phenomenal as well. Until next time, which will be next Friday, I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.